On OSRC News at 7, Ondo State takes action to protect consumers against unfair trade practices. Presidency affirms impact of Tinubu's economic reforms. INEC seeks speedy review of Electoral Act ahead 2027 general election. From foreign scene, 2 million US federal workers to go without pay amid government shutdown. Good evening and welcome to the news. My name is Omoshiliola Adesoya Ajayi. The Ondo State government has announced the temporary closure of a section of the Akure-Ilesha Highway at Oyan-William Shagari Junction. A statement by the Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing, Engineer Ayorinde Olawoye, said the move is to allow for critical works on the ongoing flyover project. According to the statement, the affected stretch will be shut for 5 days from Sunday, October 5 to Friday, October 10, 2025, to enable the casting and placement of pre-stressed beams. The Commissioner assured motorists that adequate diversion routes have been arranged to ease movement during the exercise. The government emphasized that the project is part of RE's agenda to deliver lasting infrastructure improvements across the states. Meanwhile, the Ondo State government has begun a statewide market sensitization campaign aimed at curbing unfair trade practices, promoting transparent business conduct, and safeguarding the rights of consumers across the state. During a sensitization exercise with traders in Akure South local government area of Ondo State, Commissioner for Commerce, Industry and Cooperatives Adebola Ademuwagun emphasized the importance of enlightening key market stakeholders on consumer protection policies in their operations. Joy Pius has details.
Nigerian markets are significantly affected by a flood of fake and substandard products, from medicines to electronics and many others, due to factors like porous borders, inadequate regulatory enforcement, and a thriving informal economy. Determined to protect Nigeria consumers from harmful and unsafe products, the Ondo State Competition and Consumer Protection Agency engaged traders in the Central Senatorial District of the state on eradicating illegal market practices. Commissioner for Commerce, Industry and Cooperatives Adebola Ademuwagun noted that at a time when both consumers and businesses are experiencing economic challenges, getting value for money expended on products has become imperative.
Push on people, whether the buyer or themselves, because many of them still consume what they buy. When it is fake, it will be of no use. And when people buy the consumer, they will complain about them, they won't return to them again to buy. So it is very good for them to listen and make use of this enlightenment.
The Administrative Secretary of the agency, Kudirat Ola, among other stakeholders, stressed the need for traders to purchase products from the right sources to prevent circulation of fake and substandard products.
My message to them is to always ensure that they buy original products directly from source, from distributor, not a substandard product. They should ensure they check the necessary label that is supposed to be on it, either NAFDAC registration or standard organization code that is on it should be ensured before they bring it into the main market for distribution.
I believe that after this program today, they'll be able to take their time to check which one is fake, which one is substandard, and also disease from collecting those goods from distributors that are bringing them to them in their marketplaces, because it is not just for them, it's affecting the economic value of Nigeria in the marketplace. It's also affecting our health.
And if there is any way they feel the government will come to their aid and getting the bad eggs out of them, I think they should also try and bring this gospel to everybody.
Well, I thank both the state government and the federal government for bringing this kind of discussion, sensitization to my market women. Our market women, they don't usually look at the expiring dates of their products, but this will wake them up. When you buy fish, you look at the expiring dates. And if the goods are expired, you return it.
The agency also reviewed plans to commence elimination of hazardous products towards putting an end to an unfair trade practices and exploitation of customers. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has destroyed unwholesome, substandard, falsified and expired products worth 15 billion naira at Moniya dump site in Ibadan, Oyo State. Speaking at the destruction exercise, NAFDAC Director General Mojisola Adeyeye said the action aimed to eliminate the risk of such dangerous products re-entering the Nigerian markets and harming public health. Represented by NAFDAC's Director of Investigation and Enforcement, Dr. Martin Siluyomade, Adeyeye explained that the destruct items included counterfeit, expired, controlled, unregistered, and banned medicine and medical products. She said other destroyed products include anagin, cocomadin, cocodamol, codeine containing cough syrups, tramadol, oxytocin, and various expired vaccines, all of which pose significant health risk if consumed or circulated. Adeyeye urged community leaders, health professionals, religious figures, and journalists to educate the public on the dangers of patronizing unlicensed drug sellers and unregistered pharmaceutical outlets. She called for public participation in the fight against substandard products, urging Nigerians to report suspicious drug activities to help protect lives and strengthen the nation's regulatory system. The presidency has outlined what it described as significant progress in Nigeria's economy following reforms introduced under President Bola Tinubu. Special advisor to the president on media and public communication, Sunday Dare, in a post on his official X handle, said the country's economy, which was at a breaking point before Tinubu assumed office, is now recording measurable progress. He explained that the reforms have touched critical areas including trade, foreign reserves, taxation, debt service, fuel subsidy removal, budget deficits, and public financial management. The presidential aide also pointed to improvements in the nation's foreign reserves, government revenue, and debt servicing. Dare stated that the economic reforms have strengthened coordination, improved transparency, and made public financial management more disciplined. He added that without the reforms, Nigeria would have faced worsening deficit, collapsing reserves, hyperinflation, ballooning debt, and possible economic collapse. The National Universities Commission has granted full accreditation for 34 academic programs across 4 faculties at the newly established Federal University of Technology and Environmental Sciences in Ekiti. FOTI's registrar, Mr. Oluwole Dada, who disclosed this in a statement released at Ekiti, said the accreditation had paved the way for the official commencement of academic activities for the 2025-2026 academic session in the institution. He stated that the exercise was aimed at ascertaining the institution's preparedness and its capacity to deliver world-class training in science, engineering and technology, computing and information technology, as well as environmental sciences. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Gbengari Bisala, who expressed delight at the successful verification, described it a milestone that affirms the university's readiness to provide 21st century education. Aribisala urged admission seekers to change their choice to focus on the JAMB portal, assuring merit-based admission, and advised them to rely only on verified information from the school's website or registrar. You're watching the news on OSRC television. We'll take a break now. When we come back, the news continues. Please don't go away.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is here. Dial star 900 hash and recharge 100 naira or more before 5 p.m. and you could be a millionaire. At 7 p.m., all cash prizes will be paid directly into your Momo account. Dial star 900 hash. Start recharging now and stand a chance to win big in the MTN Mega Billion promo.
Glad to have you back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at OSRC TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel at OSRC TV Ondo. As Nigeria marks its 65th independence anniversary, the meaning of this milestone resonates differently with Gen Z and millennials. For them, independence is no longer just about freedom from colonial rule. It is about tangible realities, economic empowerment, political accountability, and social and environmental justice, digital innovation, and access to opportunities. Understanding these perspectives is vital for policymakers, businesses, and leaders seeking to connect with today's young Nigerians. OSRC's Adewumi Taiwo has details.
Over the decades, Nigeria has weathered daunting challenges, economic fluctuations, political instability, and social unrest. Yet, the resilience of its people and its cultural heritage remain enduring sources of strength and hope. At 65, the nation stands proud, united, and committed to a shared destiny. But for the younger generations, the meaning of independence carries new dimensions. Millennials shaped by years of reforms and democratic transitions reflect on achievements of the present administration, while also demanding stronger governance and economic stability.
There's no saying that we have gained from it. Definitely. You know what Nigeria was when we were very small. You know that independence has improved us. That's a major thing that I was saying. We have not lost about it.
Let all of us stay here and salvage what is happening on the ground. Nigeria is the best place to live. The economic problem we are facing has not caused by today. It started for years back. Look at first at 1977. What is the impact of 1977? It brings nothing to us. But because our people at the top, for their selfish interest of what they eat, that's why they squandered money in first time. And so many things like that. Me, I still believe in good and better Nigeria. Not for people like me, for my children coming, people coming and around. I still believe strongly. Let all of us stand. Lest everybody goes back to his house. Nigeria has to be built from household.
For Gen Z, independence represents optimism, a belief that with digital innovation, civic engagement, and creativity, a brighter future is possible.
Every act of resilience that we Nigerians uphold, it gives us hope that truly Nigeria can still stand again. It gives us hope that yes, there is still a glimpse of light for this great country, and I believe the rise of this country starts with you, starts with me, starts with everyone on board, because the giant of Africa is you, the giant of Africa is me, and the giant of Africa is Nigeria. If Nigeria will stand, it must stand and begin from our hands.
The digital aspect and the political wise, the youths are now trying to engage themselves in the political sector, in the educational sector too. You could see that independence has shaped the educational sector, the use of digital software, AI, and everything in the country.
Together, Gen Z and millennials are reshaping the meaning of Nigeria's independence at 65. To them, it represents empowerment, accountability, and digital freedom. And by tapping into their energy and aspirations, Nigeria can pave the way for sustained progress and development. This renewed vision of independence offers hope that the nation's future will be driven by young Nigerians determined to build a more inclusive and prosperous society. Adewumi Taiwo, OSRC News.
And as Nigeria marks 65 years of independence, the conversation around politics and democracy has taken the center stage. In Akure, professionals from diverse fields gathered at a special convocation to examine how politics continues to shape the nation's democratic journey. Our correspondent Abidemi Akirotoye reports.
As Nigerians still in the euphoria of 65th independence anniversary, attention is once again drawn to the country's democratic path, with politics at the heart of its progress. It is against this backdrop that Crest FM Akure hosted Convocation 2025 with the theme Nigeria at 65. Can our politics sustain our democracy? The gathering provided a platform for stakeholders to interrogate the current state of the nation's democracy and the role of politics in sustaining it. Political analyst Dotun Ojon stressed that politics remains the cornerstone of governance, accountability, and the national development. He urged citizens to embrace collective efforts and active participation as pathways to positive change.
We do not have another country. This is our home country, and in whatever field we find ourselves, we must ensure that we work to ensure that Nigeria is great.
Legal practitioner Femi Emodamori emphasized that politics affect every aspect of modern life. According to him, the nation's challenges are rooted in personal character flaws and a widespread disregard for the rule of law.
To be able to effectively hold our leaders accountable, we must not be hypocritical. We must also practice what we preach as individuals.
Security expert Stephen Olanrewaju shared insights on safeguarding national stability and protecting citizens in a fragile political climate.
Unemployment is another insecurity. It's affecting people. If the youth are fully engaged with tangible income, not really being employed, but being empowered to be employed or to be employed of labor themselves.
For media executive Adeolu Boyega, the media has a crucial role to play in promoting transparency and holding leaders accountable, thereby contributing significantly to democratic growth.
Considering the role of the media in our political development, as a fourth estate of the realm, we cannot but emphasize the role of the media and how we can contribute towards the growth of democracy. So as professionals in that field, we'll keep trying our best, we'll keep contributing our quota to ensure that we have a sane society.
Convener of the event, Henry Olonimoyo, explained that the initiative was designed to strengthen political structures and deepen democratic practices in Nigeria.
It's not something that will be a one-time thing. It's something we hope will be holding every June 12th and October 1st as part of the enriching competition in our state.
As discussions progressed, participants identified corruption, electoral malpractice, and insecurity as major obstacles confronting Nigeria's democracy. Yet, they expressed optimism that politics, if properly practiced, has the potential to drive reform and fortify democratic institutions. Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary highlights a political landscape still evolving, yet promising a brighter future for generations to come. Abidemi Akirotoye, OSRC News.
The Niger State government has warned residents living along the River Niger and River Kaduna to relocate to safer areas following the release of water from major hydro dams in the state. The Niger State Emergency Management Agency issued the warning in a statement by its Director General Abdullahi Baba Ara. He explained that the development was due to the ongoing discharge of water from the Kanji, Shiroro, Zungeru, and Jeba hydroelectric dams. According to him, the dams are releasing thousands of gallons of water per minute, which could trigger river overflow and widespread flooding in surrounding communities. The NSEMA boss noted that the state is already experiencing the negative impact of flooding, with houses, farmlands, bridges, and access roads washed away in some local government areas located upstream and downstream of the 4 dams. Armed bandits have abducted 2 serving councillors and a chief imam in Zamfara State. The victims, identified as Surajo Dangaladima, councillor representing Gindangoga Ward, and Rabiu Bashari, councillor representing Zubiri Ward, both in Marandu local government area, were seized at Tsunami Quarters, Gasau, along with the chief imam of the area. Chairman of Marandu Local Government Council, Sanusi Dosara, who confirmed the incident, disclosed that the bandit's original target was a resident of Kaura Namoda living in the area, but when they failed to locate him, they abducted the councillors and the imam. The spokesperson of the State Police Command, DSP Yazid Abubakar, who also confirmed the incident, said the command had deployed additional personnel to the area and assured that efforts were underway to trace the criminals and rescue the victims. Abubakar urged residents to provide security agencies with timely and useful information about suspicious movements or criminal activities in their communities. Now to some foreign news. The U.S. Congress is nowhere closer to ending a government shutdown that began on October the 1st. More than 2 million federal workers are going without pay, and 750,000 will go on unpaid leave. Oluwatoyin Kayode has more.
All eyes are on the U.S. Senate, where Democrats and Republicans refuse to reach a government funding agreement.
Not passed.
Vote after vote failed.
Not passed.
With neither side willing to make concessions and both casting blames on the other.
Democrats are well aware of the damage of a government shutdown.
Our Republican colleagues did not want to help us out of this crisis.
Democrats insist Republicans extend pandemic-era tax subsidies, lowering the cost of health insurance for many Americans. Republicans say that is too expensive and want Democrats to pass the clean funding bill that already cleared the House. These school children flew to Washington from Macon, Georgia, to learn how the federal government works, or in this case, isn't working today.
We had a morning tour at the Congress, and then we were going to go to the Library of Congress, Supreme Court, and Bureau of Engraving, and FBI.
All of those plans had to be cancelled with government offices closed to visitors. But it is the unseen work of the federal government that hit the hardest. 90% of the education department is forged. The Labor Department is operating with a quarter of its staff, meaning Friday's much anticipated jobs report will likely be delayed. Some airports are experiencing longer lines as TSA agents are working without pay. National security and immigration enforcement continues, but also with some deferred paychecks. And Trump has urged agencies to plan for potential mass layoffs.
If this thing drags on for another few days, or God forbid another few weeks, we are going to have to lay people off.
Back outside the capital, school principal Kami Hamlin says her students can still learn a lesson from this trip to Washington.
What we always tell the kids, there's 3 sides: their side, our side, whatever side, and then there's our side somewhere in the middle.
It is funny that that Congress is refusing to do with neither side willing to compromise to end the government shutdown. Oluwatoyin Kayode, Osrc News.
Major European powers have voiced support for a proposal to use frozen Russian assets as collateral for an enormous loan to Ukraine to fund its reconstruction. Victoria Olawale has details.
A small crowd gathered outside the castle where the EU leaders were meeting, calling for an immediate end to the war in Gaza. Inside, the bloc welcomed President Trump's peace plan and said it would participate in implementing any ceasefire, including arrangements for a transitional authority and Gaza's reconstruction.
We welcome the plan on the table. This brings hope, it brings stability for peace, and hopefully will keep alive the two-state solution. It will give Israel security, it will give Palestinians a possibility to have a legitimate path to statehood. It is now up to Hamas to accept the proposal so that the guns can fall silent.
War in Ukraine is topping the agenda. Incursions in Europeans' airspace by Russia fighters, jets and drones have raised concerns Europe may be edging closer to a military confrontation.
I think it is serious. I think the war in Ukraine is very serious. When I look at Europe today, I think we are in the most difficult and dangerous situation since the end of the Second World War, not the Cold War anymore.
EU leaders seem to have narrowed their differences over using frozen Russian assets, despite concerns mainly from some countries, including Belgium, where Russian assets are deposited. But the one in action could embolden President Vladimir Putin.
We see that Russia is testing our resolve. So these are times where it is absolutely paramount that we have a common sense of urgency and unity to address these challenges. And therefore this informal European Council in Copenhagen comes just at the right time.
The EU has agreed to give Kyiv more than $2 billion to scale up its defense system. Victoria Olawale, Osrc News.
And to end the news, here again are some of the major stories. We told you that the Ondo State government has begun a statewide market sensitization campaign aimed at curbing unfair trade practices and safeguarding the rights of consumers across the state. We also inform you that Nigerian presidency has described its reform as significant progress in its economy. He explained that the reform touched critical areas such as trade, taxation, and others. The Independent National Electoral Commission has expressed concerns over the delay in the National Assembly review of the existing Electoral Act amid the 2027 election. And finally, we told you that more than 2 million workers are going without pay due to the U.S. government shutdown as the Democrat and Republican refuse to reach a government funding agreement. And that's it on the news. Thank you so much for watching.